Hey guys, this is just a quick one on the problem that you may face if you try to do the antenna mod, or you don't try but you do the antenna mod on the Taranis. Now, I found the issue to my cost, to my expense, meaning that I did the antenna mod, everything seemed fine. I didn't take into consideration the sensitivity of the output side of the transmitter, and even though I am equipped here with anti-static mats and such and straps, I didn't put one on when I did my connections, and I must have discharged some static through the output transistors, and basically I've left them flapping about in the wind, damaging them. And over a period of time, of course, the period of, let's say, a month, it's gone from working okay to I can only go 50 meters before I get RSSI warnings. Part of it was due as well to my antenna. The antenna that I had on here, that I used, was the same antenna, 2.4 gig, as what I had on my Hubsan controller, part of a kit that I bought. The antenna, patch antenna, and the antenna, XDM antenna, if I remember what that is. And that was getting a RAS, which is basically VSWR, voltage standing wave ratio, feedback indicator of between 16 vertically, and when I tilt it to an angle, it was going between sort of like mid-20s to lower 30s, and that, it wasn't stable, and so that antenna was no good. So I put this back on, and it didn't make any difference really. In actual fact, it was just doing what I'd expected to do. Once I realised what I'd done was just to get worse and worse until it would finally just not work. But rather than me go back into this, I had two options. One was to spend £45 on a board with the output side on this and fit it, hopefully not making the same mistake again, not having anything go wrong. Or I could spend £33 in my own country on a module which is exactly the same as the module that's inside here, frequency, and set that up by just plugging it into the back of this and then using the external module for my 2.4 gigs, which is what I've done, as you can see. I think this is a much better option, and of course I can unscrew this and put different antennas on anyway, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to use this like this. What I ended up doing to get around the issue that I had, I decided to make a bit of an upgrade anyway, and I went for the Team Black Sheep long range 868 megahertz, I think it is, or 900 for rounding off in America, long range transmitter, which means that I'm going to get, with the same amount of output power, 100 milliwatts, I'm going to get double the distance with a different longer wavelength frequency, rather than 2.4 gigs. It's using, down in the megahertz. So there we go. That's what I did. I'd say to, if you're going to get one of these, you want to try doing the upgrades. I think for any of you that are even doing that on your Hubsan controllers, you've got to take these things into account. You've got to think about these things. That static discharge can have detrimental effect on the output side of your transmitters, and it doesn't take a lot to damage them. So there you go. That's this is one of the reasons why I've not been put up any videos, because one, I didn't have a controller. I'll play a bit of video now and show you the RSSI, how bad it was, and I'll also put a bit of video on and show you the what it's like with this. Even though, to be honest with you, the RSSI on the on-screen display isn't fully calibrated, but even I don't do a massive distance, but I can still see on the screen on the controller here the actual feedback from the receiver itself, which is absolutely spot on, and I'm trying to calibrate the rest of it to that receiver It doesn't go below 96 anyway, RSSI. So it's definite massive improvement with range with one of these Team Black Sheep long range transceivers. Transmitters. I suppose technically it is a transceiver because it receives telemetry to feed back to me. So yeah, it's a transceiver. It's a transceiver. And then I'm going to tell you about this GPS build because I've managed to get a bit further with it now. There's been an update in firmware for iNav for this particular board because there was only one version of software firmware to use with this board and I was getting issues with it. But now there's another version of that firmware and I'm not getting those same issues. So I'll talk about that in the next video. Cheers for watching guys, and I'll speak real soon.